Hi, it's Sandra Pelly, the Sandini, and we're here on a support call. Thank you so much for being here. I really appreciate you guys taking the time out of your busy schedules. um, life as we know it has kind of been in upheaval, and a couple things came to mind to me as I was laying here doing my morning pages this morning. And one is one of the topics that we were speaking about just before we started the call, and that's allergies. Another one is the exhaustion, feeling tired, feeling a sense of, man, do I have something going on, or is this just the regular things that are going on? For myself, I have snow mold allergies, and I am in British Columbia. Yes, I'm in an area that doesn't get a whole lot of snow, but they still get seasonal weather, growth. It's been extremely windy, and it is really acting up my allergies to the point where I'm like, man, I really feel odd. I'm telling my husband that, oh, here's a symptom, yada, yada, yada. And then we, of course, know that this is a symptom that is one of the COVID symptoms. So first thing I do, or bear with me here a second. If I remember, or if he needs to remind me, is first thing that I do is I take an allergy pill. And now for me, an allergy pill, because I'm very susceptible to most medicines, I actually break one of the lightest forms of allergy pills into three and just do a third of one, so that I can just combat the feelings rather than get that entirely dried out sense of whatever that the antihistamine does and stuff. So, and then the other thing is too, is that exhaustion, that tiredness, getting the feeling of just being really bagged through here, like really, really, like almost like you want to close your eyes and just rest for a while. And, other little symptoms, a sore throat, just all these little different things. But I want to address, okay, so one is as allergies, right? People have allergies, and they're seasonal allergies, and we're in the season of coming into that season, or we're actually in that season, because I know for some of us there's definitely a lot of snow around still. And then that part about the exhaustion, that feeling exhausted, like possibly a headache, possibly feeling bagged, like I said, across the eyes. And that they've actually, I noticed something on Facebook, and again here, reading the information that you feel is important and that you feel is a good source is really important. And this one was actually about, the word was called moral fatigue. Okay, so right now, instead of going through our day-to-day life as we were pre-COVID, where all these decisions were being made subconsciously, we're now very, very conscious of every decision that we're making. Whether it's in our house or outside of our house, we're very conscious of the decisions that we're making. And that is where this moral fatigue is coming in, is with that now suddenly have to thinking about, oh, you know what, yes, we had to think about washing our hands when we came out of the washroom, but now it's like, oh, I touched my face, I need to go wash my hand. Oh, I sneezed, I need to go wash my hands. And oh, I need to wipe this down. And now I've going out to get groceries, I have to do this, I have to do that. And just really, we're so conscious right now of what we need to do and the things that we should be avoiding, that our brain is getting exhausted with all of these thoughts that are running around in it. So that's what's happening right now, is a moral fatigue. So one of the ways to combat that is to truly, for myself, for 2 nights in a row there, I was up until 1 a.m. just reading, or because I couldn't sleep because my brain was going off at 100 miles an hour in all kinds of different directions. And getting the amount of sleep you need is really important. Getting the amount of rest you need. Setting up a schedule if you need to, if you are a schedule person, or if you're not a schedule person, just setting up some sort of schedule. I know that my schedule is pretty loose, but I make sure that I know what I want to get done in a day. So if I want to get the laundry done, if I need to, make something specifically, if I want to create an email, if I want to work on my income tax, I at least create some sort of either mental list, or I write it in my morning pages so that I've got an idea of what to do during the day, so that my focus is on other things rather than all the stuff that's going on around the COVID and that. So that's really important. The other thing too is the self-healing. The self-healing, where, like, there's a reason why my guides prompted and brought in all this information about empowering the healer within. And this is a really prime example of where we can step into starting to heal ourselves. Last night is probably the worst I've felt yet, to the point where I was actually, really feeling, well, holy cow, I've been so very careful. Yesterday I went out to get groceries. I actually wore a mask. I washed my hands. I wore gloves, the whole 9 yards. I was very, very careful. And yet last night I felt like I had a sore throat. I felt like I had the eye thing. I had a headache, and it was like, holy cow, what's going on? And even to the point where I could feel it in the spleen, esophagus area, the indigestion possibly or something, right? So what I did was, when I laid down, of course, I did what my husband suggested, take an allergy pill, and that seemed to combat a certain amount of that. But then after that, it was like, okay, well, there's more going on than that. Maybe it is COVID, maybe it's not. I'm going to take precautions. I don't want to be blowing my breath at my husband all night, kind of thing. I'll lie on this side, et cetera, et cetera. And then I thought about, what am I doing for myself with the self-healing? And so I've been continually talking about what's the word I'm looking for? Star energy. I'm always working with the star energy. So that seems to be my real focus these days. And what is a star? A star is light, right? And light energy is what I've always been asking each of us to work with, and bring in that beautiful love energy, the light energy, and just feel that energy growing and prospering. It's saying, the word is coming through as prospering within your soul, within your physical body. So what I did was, I laid down and I placed both my hands in that area of the esophagus and the spleen. And as I sat there, I just felt this light energy coming into there. And I was very conscious of bringing this light energy into there and the positive healing of that energy. And then I brought it up to my head. And as I brought it up to my head in that crown area, I actually felt like there was a star, and the shape of a star, but it actually had a circle around it. So it felt like it was like sitting like a cap on my crown chakra. And then I just felt how that energy of it just kind of embraced and sunk into my brain and that. And I actually did feel way better afterwards. And I think it's really important for each one of you to understand that you're very capable of healing yourselves. You have to accept, trust, and believe, and really step into this, especially at this time, right? So one of the things I want to do before we get going too much further is just let's do a little meditation. I'm going to have a drink of water first, and then we'll do a little meditation. So everybody, be very conscious too of how much water you're drinking or not drinking, because that's important to be kept hydrated. Okay. So feeling into the energy of your physical body. And as you're feeling into the energy of your physical body, be conscious of your breath. And as you're conscious of your breath, draw your attention to the area that is bothering you the most within your physical body right now. Is it a sense of weariness, a sense of grief, of overwhelm? Just finding that little spot within you right now that you would like to dissipate or to clear. Get a sense of where that is. Being again conscious of your breath, your inhale and your exhale. That beautiful connection with your lungs and your heart. And now each of you is likely familiar with dental floss. This came up on a call that I was listening to the other day. It was called a mind floss. But what we're going to do now is literally floss that area within your body where you feel this sense of heavier energy. And feel how you would floss it. I just imagine that floss going through just minuscule layers of that, and how it's just clearing that whole area. Take a moment to do that. And as you are doing that, you can feel the sense of calmness that's coming over yourself, as well as how those pieces that are being dislodged are evaporating. Or are being recycled. Beautiful. Now make the point of drawing in from outside of you this beautiful light energy. You could connect with the star, you can connect with water, you can connect with the pure love energy that's going around the earth right now. Just tap into whatever energy feels right to you and draw it into that area. Beautiful. And I'm going to recite and breathe our way through two important mantras, the I am love mantra and the I am open mantra. You can even embrace yourself if you like. I am love. I am loved. I am loving. I am lovable. I love me. I love you. I am divine love. We are divine love. I am open. With no expectations, no limitations. And I am okay with the outcome. And now take a moment to spread that feeling consciously throughout all of your body, asking that it goes to the parts, both physical and energetically, where it will do the most good. And taking another breath into that. And so it is. Thank you. So I just wanted to touch base again with the moral fatigue, as some of you were just coming on as we were starting. So this moral fatigue is something to be very aware of right now, because as I had mentioned, uh, we have gone from one way of life into an entirely different way of life. And it's really evident by the posts that are starting to come up on Facebook, the posts about the Spanish flu epidemic in 1918. In Kelowna, BC, there was one where they closed down everything in the entire town of BC, British Columbia, in 1918. And here we are 102 years later, doing the exact same thing. I'm not very far from that same place, Kelowna, British Columbia. And again, here we are worldwide doing this. And we have gone from subconsciously having little decisions that we're not even aware of, to being very aware of every single decision that we're making right now. And in that decision making, there's so many other things coming into mind. One of you posted in a private conversation about feeling the grief of the people who are unable to have either their loved ones with them, or be the loved ones who are letting go of a person to go into the hospital and are unable to go with them. And yeah, that's a tough one when you're aware of the things that are going on around the world right now. When we're, especially as empaths, we can feel the energy of that in a really big way. We can feel it in the ambulances that go flying by, but also to be aware that there's more going on than just this COVID. There are people having heart attacks still every day. There are people having diabetes things. All these other little things are still happening around us. So every ambulance that we hear is not around COVID, okay? There's a lot of other things that are still going on in our day-to-day life. However, our awareness keeps getting shifted and shifted and shifted. And in that awareness, it is causing the moral fatigue. So being in support groups like we're doing now, reaching out to someone you know that will be able to support you, in however they speak with you, phone conversations, text messages, in private group chats, whatever the case may be, that's one way to help to relieve some of that stress. Being sure to rest, making sure that you're eating properly, making sure that you're staying hydrated. These are all important things. I find that today I didn't have this happen, but most days I'm literally waking up with a song running through my mind. The last three that I got was one was Rihanna. It was really interesting because I had been thinking about Rihanna just a day or two before, wondering, man, I haven't heard a lot about her recently. And then 2 mornings later, Please Don't Stop the Music came in. And I'm like, wow, what a beautiful, profound moment. Because yes, that is something that we really need to step into, is powerful music. And, and I'm just going to go whoosh in the other direction for just a moment. That's one of those subconscious thoughts that we're having. Here I was laying in here with my husband last night watching a movie. And in watching the movie, I was thinking, holy cow, I am watching this from a COVID point of view. Here's all these people in this restaurant, and I'm watching it from a COVID point of view, thinking they need to separate it. And it's like, okay, I need to stop doing that. I need to watch the movie for what the movie is when it was created, and just let it be what it is. And so then once I was aware that that was what I was doing, it was far more easier to let myself be drawn into the movie, to watch the movie, rather than still be thinking about COVID. I saw the light. I saw the light. Da, 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 da. However that song goes, it's like, see the bigger picture that's going on around us right now. Bill Gates, I'm going to go post this over from my beautiful, she was the mom that lived next door. She was like a stepmom to me. she posted something that Bill Gates wrote about how incredible what is going on is in reality, about the spiritual implications of what's going on, and how incredible we are having this transfer into recognizing our family and friends and what's important, bringing things back down to, instead of being a materialistic world, et cetera, et cetera. So I'll be posting that. Probably I'll put the link to it in the letter that goes out with this as well, but and I'll be putting it on a couple of pages that I have as well. Really important to hear and understand. And then the other one I heard was Walking on Sunshine. I love that song. And as much as I caught the tune of the first two, the second tune, the third tune, that Walking on Sunshine, is escaping me right now. But you know what? We are each balls of sunshine, and really step into the energy of the sunshine, the brightness, the light that each one of you are, because you guys are each light workers. You're every single one of you, even if you are even if you are still feeling like you're unprepared to step into that role, you truly are in that role, because you're on here listening to this, you're listening to empowering words, you're feeling into those empowering words, and you're making points of doing something on a daily basis that's productive. And that's very empowering. That's light workers at their best. Okay, so talking about all that stuff, so allergies are part of the reasons of feeling possibly like you're catching COVID, even though that's unlikely you're catching COVID if you've done all the precautions and that. Just be aware that there's other things going on seasonally right now. I know last night it was a lot colder where we are, and the walls of our trailer are very, very thin. And the back of my head and the top of my head, when we have to use one of the walls for back support while we're watching TV, when we're sitting up or laying down. And my head just felt so cold. And when you think about it, here I've got this headache. Well, no wonder I've got a headache. I'm leaning my head against a cold wall. So last night when I went to sleep, my guides said, my guides had me think about a t-shirt or something over my head. And then I remembered that I've got all these extra pillows. So all I did was I put a pillow against the wall so that I didn't have that breeze there. And I woke up in a much better feeling, and it wasn't freezing cold all night because the top of my head wasn't freezing cold. So all these little things our guides are bringing to our awareness. So if you're having random thoughts and they seem like they're kind of very random, take a closer look at what they're about, because your guides are guiding you right now in small ways to help you to get through each day. Okay. So yeah, we all have the self-healing ability. We're all dealing with the same thing right now. And I would love to open up the floor just to see if anybody has any comments or any questions. Please. Come on, you guys. Go ahead, Viorica.
I don't know, you ladies, if you are, you know about aspectology. Each problem that we have, it's because an aspect of our life. I don't remember the book. I read a book. I read a book long ago. It's about aspects in our life. That's the reason that with this, that reddish when you go on your face and on your neck. I don't know how, when you are stressed. I don't know the name, how you name it. But I got allergy from, I think I had 2 cats, and they're passed away now, and a dog. And every night when I went to bed, my allergy started. I said, okay. I didn't go to the doctor because I didn't know what to do to get rid of the cat and the dog. No. So I did the aspectology. I said, okay, you are here, now you leave. I don't need you. And I did it for a few nights, and it's gone. Since then, years ago. And the same with hot flashes. Started, and when they started, I said, okay, you are here, but leave. And I imagined them like something in and I drop, like you said, with the plus, with the discarding, put it in a bucket and send it to the universe to transmute it. So, and I didn't take any pills, nothing. And since then, I don't have any allergy.
I love that. You also touched on the hot flashes. And of course, all of us are women in here. And I know that my mom suffered huge with hot flashes. When it came time for, when I came into that period of my life where it was likely that I was going to be doing hot flashes, I did the same as you. I just made the decision that that wasn't going to happen. I decided that I was, that hot flashes were for whatever purpose, but I no longer needed to be part of that. And nor was I going to step into that thought of having to have hot flashes because I was going through that age. So yeah, well, the power of our mind, I love that. And really focusing on, and what you were saying about, I was okay, hey, you're here, and then you let it go. And I that's something I've said many, many times, is when we have a pain in our body, acknowledge that pain. Acknowledge that pain and then allow it to leave. Like, just let it go. And that's exactly what you've just said. So thank you. I appreciate your comments on that. And you said that there's a book possibly or something aspect.
Yeah,
I can't type anything in chat. Can you type that into chat for me?
I don't have it. I borrow it to somebody. I need to call to ask him. I don't know the name. It's a lady in Vancouver, has a close to Vancouver, White Creek, I think.
White Rock.
White Rock. Yeah, she has a university there, and she treats with people with aspectology.
Okay, could you write that? I can't type anything in my chat. It's not allowing me to.
I don't know. I have to.
Let me finish, Eureka. Type in aspectology. That way I've got it in my notes. It saves those notes. But if I don't have that word, then I'll likely forget it. So if you don't mind just typing the word aspectology, or however you spell it, into the chat, I would highly appreciate it. Please and thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
And when I get a book back, I send a message to that guy that I borrowed the name of the book, and I'm gonna let you know. It's a very, very good book.
Beautiful. I love that. Yeah, lots of good information coming around for sure. Anybody else have anything they want to share or add or talk about? You guys. Okay, well then I'm going to go ahead.
I was just going to say I can comment a little bit. I noticed that last week when this started, really coming out, and they enforced the stay-at-home, thing. I was feeling a lot of sadness last week, and just shock and stuff. And now I've noticed in the last 3 days I'm feeling very angry.
I love it. I love this.
I'm feeling very angry, and I know that it's not all mine, but some of it I know it is, and it's just something that I'm observing. And of course, I'm still doing my self-care, but I'm also human, and I'm noticing this anger coming up, and just I don't know. That's all I wanted to say.
Okay, I'm going to address that because I think it's really important. The first thing that came to me right off the bat when you said about anger is that first thing you did was you acknowledged the feelings that you had before, and now you're in this phase of anger, and that's beautiful. That's fantastic. I love that. The first thing that came to mind with that was, in sense, was a funeral. And it's not that there's someone in your life is going to die by any means. What that was is the way of life. Our way of life as we knew it has expired, has deceased, has died. We're stepping into a new way of life, and And with that, it's that, first of all, that acknowledgement that, holy cow, this has happened. The grief for what we've lost, the ability to just go to our neighbors and knock on the door and ask for a cup of sugar and go in and have a cup of coffee, like that sort of way of life for the moment is gone. And then, yeah, the being angry over that, like, and like you said, all those feelings may or may not be yours or other people's. We're empaths. We're going to feel a lot of anger and feel a lot of all the other stuff that's going on. Excuse me.
Yeah, I think it's very true for me, because I worked with death and dying for many years. I was helping people cross over for years, and I'm very, very aware of the grief process, and I know that that's what most of life is. We're in some stage of the grief process, and so last week I was in the shock and the sadness, and this week, for the last 3 days, I'm in the anger phase. So maybe in a few days I'll be in the bargaining stage. Please,
Love
God,
it.
I promise I'll put myself out there and start sharing my gifts if you just stop this virus and let us all get back to normal.
I love it.
Whatever that is, normal, quote unquote.
Exactly.
But I know that, and but I'm just trying to be with who I'm. Excuse me. I am being with who I am, and I'm just letting it come out, because I'm not gonna sit there and deny my feelings, because that wouldn't be being authentic and true to who I really am, So that's all I wanted to say. I just feel the anger the last 3 days. So.
I love that. And I see you and I feel you, and I truly understand exactly. And there's another layer to it as well. It's well, actually 2 or 3 other layers. One, it's the people who are still choosing to be oblivious and are not doing their part, right? Or failing to do their part. And then there's the words that are happening out there that are possibly misleading people. So there are so many different layers to that anger, and it's really, dialing it down, seeing where it's coming from, and then dealing with it. And what you're doing in the acknowledging of it is huge. And I appreciate that.
And one other thing too, I guess I'll just mention this. My husband got laid off last week, and we've been through so many. We've just been through a lot, and it's just not easy. And he's got the type of personality where he's just got to be busy all the time. He doesn't meditate. He's just not on the same kind of path I am, and so he doesn't really. He has to be busy all the time, and this is like driving him crazy. Being home, and his truck broke down. We only have the one truck, and he has no way to even get out of here now, and he's just just really so and I'm so empathic, and I feel like I pick up, like, he'll never verbalize how he's really feeling, but I'm picking it up,
Yeah.
even though sometimes he's even in denial about it, but I know, because I'm picking up the
Yeah.
from
Exactly.
him.
So this
And
is a
it's
huge.
it's hard.
This is a huge opportunity for you, Cynthia, on one hand as well. By no means do we expect our spouses or partners to totally shift, or any of the loved ones, because I know one of you here has many children that you're living with instead of a spouse. But this is a good opportunity to start the channels of communication. Okay, not to say that you have to go, hey, sit down, I want to have a conversation with you. It's the figuring out, what is the sentence that I could use, what are the few words that I could use right now that are going to and then of course, like I say, being open with no expectations, no limitations, and being okay with the outcome. So for instance, every time that my husband got on the phone with me when he was working and said, I'm living the life, even though he hated his job, I pointed that out to him. I said, you know, you keep saying this sentence. Is that how you feel about that? That you are actually living the life you want to live? And once that was pointed out to him, then he was able to change that sentence. Okay. So, you know, I know exactly what you're dealing with, because when we first shifted into this way of life that we're living right now, the first 2 or 3 months were really difficult too, because of that exact same thing. I need to keep busy. I need to do whatever. That was coming from my spouse as well. So I'm very consciously aware of what you're going through. That is his own grieving, his own anger, his own, like, it's just like the funeral, right? He's going through all these processes, and he's got to go through those in his own time, in his own way, to get to the end point of where he starts to shift into a different energy. In doing that, we have the ability to help by being just supportive, right? And ways of supporting are by just letting them be, or by saying small things like so his truck's broken down. Is he mechanical? Does he do stuff like that?
It's a job that required it to be taken to, you know, to professionals.
Into a professional, right? And now, of course, the money's not there to do that, right?
Right. And that's a whole nother, I don't even want to,
Yeah,
I
no,
don't want to
and-
take, no, I don't want to get into my own personal. I just wanted to say that is a little bit of a struggle right now for me, because, you know, like my lifestyle, I was pretty isolated anyway. I don't get out much because I'm not feeling well, and I was very used to. So for me, this adjustment of stay at home, you know, it wasn't an adjustment for me, because I do it anyway. And I'm just, you know, I'm just noticing, like, you know, it's just, you know, but anyway, I just wanted to bring that
Okay.
up. That's all.
Okay. So I'm just going to reiterate for everybody, not specifically Cynthia, that the same things apply for our partners, for our kids, that apply for us. Okay. You know, I'm asking you guys to be conscious of being, you know, hydrated, of eating a bit better, of getting enough rest, of finding something else to focus on. Asking people to sit down and maybe watch a comedy show, or hey, go listen to this song, or put some music on. I know when my husband's own, I'm not sure how to word it, when he started to shift into the energy of appreciating life a little bit more, he was very focused on his job. And when he started to shift into, like I say, appreciating life a little bit more, I can truly lay it on the whatever you want to, I'm not sure what the right word would be. I can lay it on the shoulders of the fact that both myself and our kids asked him to listen to more music. They went so far as to actually get him an iPod for himself so that he could put music on and listen to music. And that changed his life, was starting to listen to music more often. So instead of just rambling around with his own thoughts, he was now listening to music almost all the time. And it literally helped to shift him into a much better space. So that would be probably one of the key things that I would suggest if people are struggling, is if you have no music on in the house, Cynthia, or anybody, put music on.
I always listen to music, but my husband's, you know, CNN, you know, with the, you know, coronavirus all day long. And I even tell him, you have got to stop, you know, like, I mean, for me personally, I like to be like informed, you know, about the world and what's going on, but I can't sit in it, you know, 24/7. I just can't.
So the other thing that I want to suggest around that is like, I know for Paul and I here in Canada, and I imagine this goes for Via Rica as well. We have a news channel, a couple different news channels in each of the provinces, and they have a specific time of day that they do updates. I know for Edmonton area where Viorica is, it's a global Edmonton channel, and they do a live at either 3:30 or 4:30 in the afternoon on a weekday basis. And we make the choice to just listen to that. The British Columbia has the same one on their global TV. At just I think it's on the half hour rather than the hour. So we make a point of listening to that specifically and blowing off all the rest of it. So now you may have mentioned to partners, oh, you shouldn't be doing this, listening into that so much. Maybe instead of saying that, shifting how we phrase things to, you know what, there's a very specific amount of information that's coming through, and dialing it back to watching it in this news frame at this time might be much better, because then you're getting all the information. There's one thing called Power Play, I believe, in Canada as well, that I'm not sure, like it's on internet, it's on cable, so we don't have it on our TV. But Power Play gives you that same kind of format where it's specific information and it's at a specific time of day, and then that's the only time of day they go on TV and watch is that time of day, right? So just giving them suggestions rather than saying don't do that, right? It's a lot easier to give guidance that way than to cut cords, I guess would be the best way to suggest that. Okay.
Well, one other thing I wanted to mention, and this was just a huge insight for me the other day, and I mean, I've always known this, but it just, I knew it at an even deeper level, and I'm just going to leave it with this, is that, you know, unless you've gone through something, you cannot ever understand what a person's going through. And by that, I mean, if you're laid off, a person who never has been would never really understand it. If you have cancer, a person who never has would really ever understand. If you, you know, are financially, you know, struggling, a person who's a multimillionaire would never get it. And of course, it would be easy for them to say, you know, I can be in peace, and, you know, I don't have to worry, and blah, blah, blah. But it just became so much more like on a deeper level. I really was like, oh my God, you know, there's just, unless you have really gone through something yourself, you'll never understand what somebody else is going through. And that was what came to me the other day.
Yeah. And you're
I don't know
absolutely
if
right.
anybody agrees with it or if they
I
don't,
totally
but
agree with it. I totally agree
that
with
was
it.
my, you know,
Yeah.
anyway.
Go ahead, Viorica.
Just, can I show you to clean up how to brush your aura? And it means you get rid of your energy or your what empathic you got from your husband. Use your selenite, a piece of selenite, and brush your aura. Or using singing bowl, and go in the whole house with a singing bowl. It doesn't smell. If you burn a sage, smells the whole house, and maybe your husband doesn't like it. But with a singing bowl, it changes, go in the whole house in every corner, and you can change the energy in the house.
Okay, so I'm going to take that a step further. You can actually do it with any musical instrument. So if you've got a set of bells, if you've even got, say, something that you're listening to on an iPod or something, you can just go around to all the different corners of your house and just have a conscious intention that it's clearing space. Like, you don't need to have specific things. Okay. I know I've done it with the drum, I've done it with bells, I've done it with my Tibetan singing bowl, I've just done it walking around and feeling into the energy. I mean, if you just go stand in front of every portal that's in the house and with your hands out and just consciously feel into the energy being cleared. You know what, you can...
That's nice to know. It's good to know, because I don't have any of those tools. I mean, I never really, you know, invested in a lot of things. Like, I don't have any. I have just a few crystals. Actually, just really one, and
You can
I
even
don't
walk around
have
with
like,
that crystal.
I don't have sage, I don't have any of the things that people talk about that they use, but somebody did send me a box of incense like 3 or 4 weeks ago, I think, and I don't even have an incense burner to be able to use it, but I suppose I could just light it and just walk around my house with it. I don't know, and intend that I'm clearing energy. So that's nice to know
Or
that you can use anything, really.
if you don't have anything, you can use your imagination. Or you can imagine the room with the black drape on the floor or on the ceiling. And imagine that you're taking off the drapes and put them in a bucket. From all the walls and after the floor and the ceiling. And when you fill the room with golden light after. And send the bucket to transmit the energy.
You also have
And
the
you don't
pyramid
need
power,
anything.
right? The pyramid power stuff clears too. So it's setting the intention. That here they talk about. I think at the end of 2019 or in 2019, they were like, "Oh, we don't do intentions anymore." But I mean, obviously we need to do intentions. Not obviously we need to do intentions. I want you to do what feels right for you, that you feel empowered to do. So finding whatever tool works for you, whether it's like she said, your imagination. I mean, when we're feeling into the energy of something, when you were asked to feel into the energy of where in your body is feeling that denser energy, you could go to that specific spot and you could feel how the dental floss was clearing it. You could feel how it was going through that area. It's the same exact thing with the energy in a house or a person. Is just imagine, and you can do it even as you're sitting right there. You don't have to physically go around to each space and do it. Okay. However, right now, if you're in a house and you are finding that you need something to do, get up and do it. Get up and go to each window, go to each door, and feel the energy shifting. Go into a room and work your way around the one way and back out the door and clearing the energy of that. It's such a fun process to do. It really is. And it's like, I know a girlfriend of mine, they were moving into a new house, a new apartment actually, and she really wanted to clear the energy of that. And so we got together on this call, and I kind of prompted her in that, okay, now you're just going to go to this door and start here, and you can even take it a step further. You could either do the house as a whole at once, or you can go, okay, I'm going to do this corner, this corner, this corner, this corner of the window, right? And this corner of the room, 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 and then over to this wall. Like you can get really in depth. Or you can do a blanket, it's whatever you want to do, whatever you feel is good for you, go for it. Don't get caught up on well, if I don't do this, it's not going to work. No. Whatever you do is going to clear the energy because you've set the intention for it to be clearing. Okay. Mm-hmm. And that's what's most important. Maria? You unmuted yourself. That's you, Marie McDonald.
I was going to say, I understand Cynthia, because the last couple of days I have gone through that depression to this anger, and the anger yesterday was just like, I just had to go offline, had to shut down. In fact, I was out helping with a septic tank, and a shovel was really helping me because I'm just digging and but I do have an ebook, Cynthia, it's by Denise Lynn for house clearing, and it has it's like A to Z, and it can anywhere from breath work to the bells, everything. It's kind of interesting.
I was going to say, it sounds like it would be interesting.
Yeah, it's something a little different.
Write that into the chat too, Marie.
Yeah,
just write down Denise Lynn's name and the book, please.
Okay, I
appreciate that. Thank you. So we're just about at the end of today's call. Thank you guys so much. I wanted to touch base with the incredible, and I've been so humbled by the testimonials that have come in, and I really appreciate it, because it is, it's when we're walking self-doubt and others point out how incredible we actually are, and that's the purpose of what I do, is so that each of you know how incredible each of you actually are, and stepping into the power of that. Actually, let's wind up with the final words coming from Marie McDonald, please, and see if anybody would like to come through with your energy, if you don't mind.
I'm getting like a drip into water, how it flows out, and it old souls, why are you so worried? You have been here many times. You have within you the knowledge of what's happening in the now. And yes, it is the waves that are coming. We are preparing you now for what is to come next. For you are seeing how the human race is reacting to this mild, very mild incident that is happening now. For things do not change, people's attitudes do not move, things will get far worse. Major wars will not happen. Disputes always will. For there will be a breaking apart of many lands. People will be used. The shifting of dynamics is a better way to put it. Food sources are going to be changing. They will be more regional. Families will be within families, as in past ancient times. There will be a going of backwards to move forward. In this new light, there will be no need for money exchanges. There will be one universal law. There will be not one president. There will be a head, because there always has to be one leader. This we will not tell you yet. It is not time. But prepare, be warned, stand in your light. The intuition that you will be getting within the next 2 months will be guiding you on how your role is to play out in the human race. This may seem small to you. You may feel like you're doing little things, that bigger things should be happening, but this is not true. This is your light being spread in your own way. You have been groomed for this. You are here at this time for this, for you are the first wavers. You are here to witness the miracles that are about to unfold. Do not get caught in the drama, for the drama is the illusion of the human race. It no longer exists, and this is the fear of so many. I am Saint Germain. I am the light of lights. I will be controlling the Northern Hemisphere. This is my duty to guide you. You will see and hear more from me as things progress. I will warn you ahead of time so you are prepared within yourself to stand and speak. I'm getting a point north. The distraction will start on the point north. I don't know what this means. What does this mean? The warming of the planet is truly the cooling of the planet. The waters will rise in certain areas. There will be much fear from this. You are here to tamp down that fear. We are with you. I'm getting 3 different voices and I cannot understand what they're saying. What was cold will now be warm. Do not feed into the fear, for we are changing things. We are, what was upper will be lower. The seasons will be, everything's going to be reversed. My children, this is now your time. This is your time to witness to where you, and it's almost like I'm getting a different voice repeating the same thing. And I can't, I'm hearing too many, there's something about something down under that's going to be happening. And what is happening down under is going to affect what's happening on the top. A full planetary shift. There's going to be a full planetary shift. Cynthia, you already know this. They're saying you've already heard this. Somebody else is here.
I have as well.
There are 2 other people here that already have heard this.
Yeah, I have as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're just confirming it for me. Thank you. I've been saying that for, I think, a year now. that the seasons are entirely shifting.
Yeah.
It's not that the
I'm
planet
also-
Earth is rotating, it's that the seasons are shifting.
Yeah, there's going to be, yeah, it's going to be a reverse planetary shift.
Yeah.
They're going, it's not the planet spinning, it's the seasons within the planet itself are going to shift, are going to reverse.
Yeah.
I'm also hearing everybody likes the temperature about 82 degrees. We cannot do this and guarantee it. I don't know who's been wishing for 82 degrees, but I'm hearing kind of laughter behind that. And almost do not lose your sense of humor within this, because within your humor is the essence of what is going to be happening. As you join more forces, your thoughts, and your thoughts are going to be creating the reality of the temperatures of the area. And I'm seeing a breakup, a breakup of countries, separations. There will be a loss of land, but that's okay. Before this happened, people will be moved, but not all. As what is happening now. They have agreed for this. What is happening, they have agreed to before they came in. It's the warning and the preparation. And there's something about at this time, there is no need to know, live your lives, be happy. Don't be all consumed. We are with you.
Thank you.
I'll try to figure out, because I was getting two or three different things at once, and I don't know if I can clear that or not.
Okay. Thank you, ladies.